Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another daily Clues by Sam. It is July 1st. Let's hope, at least I do, that the second half of the year is better than the first one was. I want to put it all behind and kick this one off with a great perfect solve. If you're new here, Clues by Sam is a daily puzzle where there are 20 people on a board. Each of them is either a criminal or an innocent, and they might give you clues to help you figure out what each person is. Not even the criminals lie, so there's no guessing involved. And imagine if there was a mechanic where, like, just one person is lying and you gotta figure out who that person is. Ever since I played with the make your own puzzle thing, I've been having some ideas for developing new games. Maybe I'm gonna get back into that. We don't know. Sorry about the tangent. I'm gonna play the game and explain the logic as I go. So if you need any help, you're stuck, or if you're new to the mechanics, then hopefully I can help you with that. The link is in the description to play along with me. It is free, and let's start. With Luigi telling us that exactly 2 innocents in row 1 are neighboring Bunty. So Bunty has 2 people neighboring them in row 1, and they are in row 1 themselves. So the 2 people that neighbor them have to be innocents, and we don't need Luigi's clue anymore because it doesn't give us any new information. So we click it and it goes see-through. Now Amy says there are exactly 2 innocents in between Penny and Tyler. So there's 2 people between Penny and Tyler. Those 2 have to be innocents exactly. So we click them and we don't need Amy's clue anymore, but Claire says that exactly 2 innocents in column B are neighboring Gabe. So Gabe has 3 people neighboring him in column B, and 2 of those are innocents. We don't know who those 2 are yet, so we leave that clue there and look at Kita's. There are more criminals in column C than column D. Criminals. There's no criminals in column C so far, so can't do anything with that clue either. Rowan says that only one of the 2 criminals neighboring Luigi is in column B. So there's already an innocent neighboring Luigi in column B, but in column B, there has to be one more person neighboring Luigi who is an innocent and one criminal. So there's 2 more people neighboring Luigi in column B. One of them is going to be a criminal, the other one is going to be an innocent, right? And there has to be a second criminal neighboring Luigi. And there's 2 more people neighboring him in column A, so of those 2, one is going to be a criminal, the other one is going to be an innocent as well. That's our 2 criminals total. And what did we know from Claire's clue, talking about column B? People neighboring Gabe are in 2 innocents. So Gabe shares 2 people with Luigi, Hope and Martin, who we just marked as opposites, which means that there's going to be only one innocent among them. There's only one more person neighboring Gabe in column B, Bunty, so Bunty has to be the second innocent. And now we don't need Claire's clue anymore. Bunty says there are exactly 3 innocents below them. So Kita is one of them. The second one is going to be the innocent that neighbors Gabe. And there has to be a third person while there's only one person left, Vicky. So Vicky has to be that third innocent. And we don't need Bunty's clue anymore. Now Vicky says that only one of the 3 criminals neighboring Noah is on the edges. So Noah has 3 people neighboring him on the edges, Kevin, Oscar, and Tyler. And only one of them is a criminal. So let's say that Kevin is the criminal. That will make Oscar and Tyler both innocents. And we know from Kita's school there has to be more criminals in column C than column D. So we know there is at least 2 there are at least 2 criminals in column C right now, right? Because we already know there is 1 criminal in column D. So if Noah has 3 criminals neighboring him total, and one of those 3 is here in column B, either Hope or Martin. The second one is in column D. The third one could only be Jason because it's the only person left neighboring Noah who could be anything other than an innocent. So Jason has to be a criminal then. And we have at least a second criminal here in column C, but it could be that we have two more. We don't know yet. Now, I could clear these tags here, but I want to leave them there because I might forget. I haven't found a real good way yet of tagging a situation where there's three people. Like, if I tag all three with the same color, then what does that mean? Because they are not opposites. Um, Jason says that only one of the three criminals on the edges is Penny's neighbor. So Penny has to have a criminal neighboring her on the edge, and there's only Uma who could be that criminal. So that means that Uma is a criminal. And that clue also tells us that there's three criminals total on the edges. One of them neighbors Noah, the other one is Uma, and the third one is Gabe or Penny, right? Because they are on the edge and they are tagged as opposites. So that means there's gonna be one criminal here. So we know now that Wanda, Zulu, and Evie are all innocents. Are we sure about that? I am. But I could have miscounted that. I don't know. Such low numbers, and even so, I often miscount stuff. Now, don't need Vicky's clue anymore. What I do need is to know that the second criminal in column C is gonna be Noah, because it's the only person left, and we know there has to be two criminals in column C to have more than what is in column D, which is one. So Noah has to be a criminal, and he gives us a new clue. Exactly two innocents above Zulu are neighboring Jason. So, where's Jason? Jason has three people neighboring him who are above Zulu, and one of them is Evie, who is already an innocent. But we have to have a second innocent who is either Kevin or Oscar. So these two are opposites, and that makes Tyler an innocent because we know there's only one criminal here neighboring Noah. So Tyler is an innocent, and we don't need Jason's or Noah's clue anymore. Tyler says there's an odd number of innocents neighboring Martin. So where's Martin? Here. Martin has three innocents so far neighboring him, but he's gonna have a fourth one in column A because both Gabe and Penny neighbor him. And 4 is not an odd number, so we need a fifth. And the fifth one can only be Hope. Hope is an innocent then? Talking about innocents, yeah. And Hope was opposites with Martin themselves, so Martin is a criminal. Now Martin says that each row has at least two innocents. Okay, we're talking about rows, and what row doesn't have a second innocent yet? Row 3. And there's only Oscar left in that row, so Oscar has to be the second innocent, which makes Kevin a criminal. And now row 2 needs a second innocent, and there's only Gabe left. So Gabe has to be an innocent, which makes Penny a criminal, and we are done the puzzle for today. So that was a good one. Very nice median. An easy one in my opinion. As opposed to yesterday where we got a new type of clue. But today is the first day in a long time or ever where I remember seeing a clue that mentions people neighboring somebody on the edge, where that somebody is not in a corner or one card away from a corner. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, for example, Claire here. If I mention Claire's neighbors on the edge, she's gonna have two edges where there's people neighboring her. Whereas if I mention somebody below her, let me close this. If I mention Jason, or in this case it was Noah, then there's only one edge where there's people neighboring that person. So it was sort of new, at least to me. I don't know if I have been playing Clues by Sam since that close. Like, how farther into the journey of making Clues by Sam was when I started playing. But yeah, first time I remember seeing something like that, and it was nice. I like it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm not playing a community puzzle today. I'm gonna be selecting some from the archive of community puzzles to play along next week with the shorter difficulty ones. And then I gotta get back into my groove live streaming this weekend. So I'll leave you guys here for today and see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys so much, as always, for all the support, for the comments, for being here. And I love when you leave questions or comments. So don't be afraid of doing so. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.